So the members of the Biden transition team knew if they changed the border policies, we would have a crisis.
I think any change in border policy that is so extreme would result in this, and I think they had to have known that.
But they did it anyway.
Correct. Especially the withdrawal and the ending of the MPP, Migrant Protection Protocols.
Why do you think they did it if they knew there was going to be a crisis? If they knew that people from all over the world were going to be able to walk into our country, we don't have the slightest idea who they are. Why do you think they would allow that to happen?
It could be several reasons. It could have been a tactic, a political tactic, to then come back and try to fix the border themselves. It could have also been the what we've seen time and time again, that Trump equals bad.
Senator John Kennedy was about to unleash one of the most blistering interrogations of the year, and the target was a top immigration official caught in the political crossfire of America's border crisis. The crisis itself has exploded into a national emergency, with record numbers of illegal crossings, overwhelmed border towns, and policies shifting so rapidly that even the experts can't keep up. But today, one question cut through the noise like a razor. Who overturned Trump's deportation order and why? And did the Biden administration knowingly trigger a border disaster? As Senator Kennedy leaned forward, eyes locked on the witness, he wasn't there for theatrics. He wasn't there for sound bites. He was there for answers. Answers Americans have been demanding for years. What followed was a relentless exchange filled with tension, uncomfortable truths, and revelations that stunned the room. This is the moment everything changed, and you're about to see exactly why. Let's dive in.
Mr. Edlow, I'm pleased we're having this hearing today, but it just seems to me the timing is bad. The house is on fire, and we're discussing new tires for the tire truck. Does a tire truck need good tires? Sure. Is that important? Of course. But not when the house is on fire. I want to talk about the house fire. I've been to the border.
45? Okay, never mind. I'll go.
I used to have a beagle. His name was Roger. I loved Roger. I cried like a baby when he died. But Roger, like most beagles, was incorrigible. About every third day, he'd run away. And eventually he'd come home, and he liked to collect roadkill. And he'd bring that roadkill into my backyard and hide it under my back porch. And the border enforcement that I've seen looks like some of the roadkill that Roger kept hidden under my back porch. Why are we having a crisis now at the border in 1 minute?
It's the administration policies that we've seen since the first day after inauguration, with the first executive order to halt deportations, with executive action to destroy, I'm sorry, not executive order, but executive order to make things easier for immigration, with the Department of Homeland Security halting deportations, with ICE guidance to return to prosecutorial discretion where only certain types of offenses can be prosecuted, can be enforced and can be put into immigration court or set for removal, where we ignore the fact that there are over 1 million people in this country with final orders of removal, none of which seem to be a priority for.
Mr. Edlow, let me interrupt you. I apologize. If we had the same policies in place today that we had on December 31st, 2020, in your considered judgment, would we be having this crisis?
No.
Did the Biden administration strike that? Let me try it another way. Did you meet with representatives of the Biden administration to talk about border security?
I can tell you that I had at least one meeting with the transition team, with Or Jadou, who was running the transition team, and I know that team met with many people at USCIS, every different department at USCIS, and same with other agencies within DHS.
the people, the good people on the Biden transition team express an interest in changing border policy?
I don't, based on my conversation with them, Senator, no, it was more just trying to understand what was going on and where things.
Well, did you and your colleagues explain to them what would happen if we changed border policy?
I did not, and that was not the questions that were being asked to me, but I know that others within the department did have that frank conversation with those team members.
So the members of the Biden transition team knew if they changed the border policies, we would have a crisis.
I think any change in border policy that is so extreme would result in this, and I think they had to have known that.
But they did it anyway.
Correct. Especially the withdrawal and the ending of the MPP, migrant protection protocols.
Why do you think they did it if they knew there was going to be a crisis? If they knew that people from all over the world were going to be able to walk into our country, we don't have the slightest idea who they are. Why do you think they would allow that to happen?
It could be several reasons. It could have been a tactic, a political tactic, to then come back and try to fix the border themselves. It could have also been the what we've seen time and time again, that Trump equals bad. So anything that the president would have done, the former president would have done, had to be overturned, no matter how successful and how important it was in maintaining order at the border. And that's what I see this as. President Trump did a phenomenal job of giving the right people the keys to make sure that we could address the crisis along the border, that we could make sure that enforcement was where it needed to be. And unfortunately, that was just derailed on January 20th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As the hearing came to a close, one truth stood tall and undeniable. Senator John Kennedy had once again proven why he remains one of the sharpest, most fearless voices in Washington. While the Biden administration continues to hide behind excuses, shifting narratives, and political theater, Kennedy cut directly through the noise with clarity, courage, and conviction. His questioning was not merely an exchange, it was a full exposure of how recklessly and irresponsibly the current administration dismantled a working border system and replaced it with confusion, chaos, and crisis. Kennedy highlighted what millions of Americans already know. The border did not collapse on its own. It was pushed, intentionally and knowingly. The Biden team was warned, they were briefed, they were told exactly what would happen if they tore apart the policies that were keeping our borders secure. They knew the consequences, yet they rushed ahead anyway, prioritizing political symbolism over national safety, ideology over common sense, and optics over responsibility. Senator Kennedy made it clear that this was not a mistake. It was a choice that left our communities overwhelmed, our agents overrun, and our laws ignored. His questions revealed a painful pattern within the Biden administration, a pattern of undoing anything associated with President Trump, no matter how effective, no matter how necessary, no matter how vital it was for the security of the United States. Instead of governing for the people, the administration governed with spite, hoping that erasing Trump policies would earn political praise, even at the cost of national stability. Kennedy exposed this mindset for exactly what it is: shallow, destructive, and dangerous. In contrast, Kennedy stood firm for law, order, and accountability. He reminded everyone watching that leadership requires more than slogans. It requires decisions rooted in reality, not emotion. His relentless questioning showed that he is one of the few who still put the safety of Americans first. While the Biden administration offered nothing but evasions and broken policies, Kennedy demanded answers, demanded facts, and demanded responsibility. And in doing so, he spoke for every citizen who feels the impact of this crisis in their communities, their schools, their hospitals, and their daily lives.